The Trinidad call-up, the national team. What was that like for you?
It was like a dream come true. I think playing for, I think we went to, if I remember, the under 20 tournament into Canada. Myself and Mickey Trotman, my deceased friend Mickey Trotman, he passed away now, good friend of mine. We had a really good tournament in the under 20 tournament, and we got drafted into the Trinidad team. I think it was a rude awakening too. I think we was two young kids that was cocky and thought that we was better than everyone, and we went to the senior team with Latipi and York and the Dorcas of this world, and we was like, yeah, I mean, this is reality check, you know. So it was a great feeling.
And you were well received by, of course, the legends of the time, the Yorks and the Latabis?
Yeah.
Or they saw you as this troublesome little boy who was just trying to take their run?
No, we were received. I think we had to pay our dues, you know. We had to, oversee the senior players. I mean, if they want you to pick up the balls and go move the cool and stuff like that, I mean, it was a tested your character and your mentality too as well too. You know, we went in there and because we wanted to play in the senior team. I think we was good enough to play there, but we had to prove ourselves.
Your full title is Turn John CM. What does it CM?
CM? Where did that come from? CM? Well, they have James John. They have different things like that. But I'm surprised to hear the CM.
The Shakonia medal.
Oh yeah. I think we got that medal after we went to the World Cup. We qualified for the World Cup for the Trinidad team, and we were able to. We got that medal from the government. It was something. It was special for us to be. I mean, apart from qualifying for the World Cup, it was special that you've been recognized by a country and you get one of the top medals as being a civilian as well too.
When you look back on your national career, your national service, 70 goals. You know, what stands out to you?
I think I love scoring goals. They used to tell me in the team I never used to give an assist because I was hungry to score goals. I always want to score goals. Even David Nackett a couple of months ago when he saw me in Trinidad, he's like, every time I give you a 1-2, there was no 1-2. I used to turn and shoot. So, but I mean, for me, is something that I had a natural ability. I had a natural knack for scoring goals. I think as a goal scorer, you have to born with that knack and to read the game and to understand, to put yourself in positions and different stuff like that. A lot of people used to say that the ball used to follow me, which is good, but I think I used to put myself in certain positions too. But being able to score that much goal for Trinidad and Tobago at that level is I think is a fantastic achievement. And I wouldn't choose it for the World, but I think the highlight of that is us qualifying for the World Cup.
Let's talk about that. 2006. That again, I mean, we threw around that classic name, but that did wonders for the Caribbean and unity. What was that experience like for you?
It was a dream come true. I think still sometimes I have to pinch myself. I think it was never a reality until we got to the World Cup. I think when we played against Sweden, I think it was a great feeling when we sang our national anthem. Remember my mom was there. She was in a wheelchair then, and she was able to come on the sideline and see me play at the World Cup. I think it was apart from qualifying for the World Cup, I think that for me was special. For us, we had to go the long way. We had to go to the playoff way. Had to go to Bahrain to win in Bahrain to qualify for the World Cup. And I think we pulled off a remarkable 1-0 victory in Bahrain, and we were successful and we went to the World Cup. I think it's something that very special, and is as a footballer, is a dream come true. You know.
You were, of course, a young gun on a team with I wouldn't call them veterans at that point in time. You know, you were the young face coming through. When you look at that team, was it well balanced to make a deep run, or you felt that maybe they caught you at the wrong time?
I think it was well balanced. I think sometimes we have to realize in the Caribbean we don't have the depth and we don't have the luxury to get rid of senior players. I think by then we got to the World Cup, our team was probably the oldest team that played in the World Cup and the smallest country. But I think in the Caribbean we tend to get rid of the senior players a bit too quick, and it's a good thing we've never done that, because Dwight York and Russell Latipi and Shaka Slap were in their twilight of their career, and they were able to help us to get to the World Cup. I mean, myself was a lot younger than those guys, but it was a dream come true playing with those guys, and I think the team was so together. I mean, when we first started, it was a bunch of guys. I mean, you know, Caribbean, we could have egos, and football is okay to have egos, it's fine, but when you could come together as a team and play for your national team and play for your representative country is something special.
You said something there, which is, I guess, the coach in you speaking. There's a point where we want to get rid of our senior players too early. But does that not stagnate the pipeline?
Yeah. Sometimes it does. But I think as a senior player, once you're looking after yourself and you you're fit enough and you're able enough to play at a national team level without, like you say, staggering the pipeline. I mean, you should get the opportunity because, for me, I think we are such a small nation. We talk about St. Lucia, Trinidad, and the rest of the Caribbean that we don't have the luxury to discard senior players so fast. I think the senior players have to bring through the younger players and give them that experience because, I mean, at some point you have to throw them into the deep end, the younger players. But I mean, until then, you have to teach them the understanding of the game and the simple stuff that they need to get them over the line.
We talked about Mercer College, where of course you were successful. You had a very good run, and then you went into 2 years where you seemed to dominate the American scene. We talk about 44 goals, an average of 0.89 per 90. That's 9 goals every 10 games.
Yeah, I think I was in my prime then, I say. But I think I was hungry too in terms of because I wanted to play at a high level, and I think after playing in the A League and work my way to the top, getting an opportunity to play in the MLS, which I was one of the lowest paid players in the MLS, and I think that made me hungry as well too. I think most of the US based players, they were making a lot more money than us, and apart from the money, I just wanted to play and wanted to prove myself as well too, because I knew the US and the MLS was just a stepping stone for me. I really wanted to go and play in the UK.
So I wouldn't ask you what your salary was.
It's embarrassing.
You know, and of course you got the breakthrough. Tell me how that happened, moving from the MLS to go to England.
Well, so I spent 2 years in the MLS. My first year I started off really slow. Then I was the top goal scorer in the MLS that year. I was rookie of the year, MLS best 11 this and stuff like that. My second season, I wanted to be paid like the rest of the MLS. So I went to the Middle East and played with a club called Alien for a couple of months, trying to hold up for that big paycheck, you know. And then I came back to the MLS and David Platt came in for me. David Platt came in from Nottingham Forest. I was supposed to go to another team in the UK as well too, but David Platt came in and he hijacked the deal. He came into Columbus where I was there, and he flew me straight to the UK on the Concorde. It was a great experience, you know. Then I signed for Nottingham Forest.
The Concorde.
Yeah.
And of course, from Forest, you had a chance to play for quite a few teams.
Yeah. More clubs than Tiger, which they say, but I mean, it's fine. I think actually getting to the UK and playing at that level is like we see in Orphe. I mean, is a different experience for me. Playing in the MLS was more technical football, and I think when I go into the UK was like wow, you know, it's a different kettle of fish. The mentality, the culture, you know. I mean, we're playing in the winter time as well too, so you have to adapt fastly, very quick.
And imagine you were saying that the MLS was more technical, which would throw a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Again, we look at the mindset, the change, the culture. What was that experience like? Seeing, remember, the British fans are known for being rabid where their football is concerned. What is that experience like? I mean, Trinidad itself is a place that supports, but not to that extent.
Nah. I mean, the English fans or the British fans will let you know if you're playing bad. I mean, they pay their money and they expect it for you to put in a performance. I think for me, it took me. Well, one good thing when I made my debut. Remember Dwight York and Shaka Islop came to see me play on my debut, and I was able to score on my debut. And I think as a young striker coming from the MLS, which is a league that they never really recognize, and able to score on your debut, I think you buy yourself a couple of weeks for the fans to put pressure on your back too. So it was good. It was good. I think I was able to fit in really well. I think David Platt understand the way I played. I mean, I was strong playing with my back to goal. Wasn't the quickest, but I think I spent a lot of time on my technical ability. So when they play the ball into me, it used to stick all the time. You know,
what did you have to change in your game / mindset between Trinidad's striker to playing in the English leagues?
I had to run more and dribble less, because it was such a physical game then. It was more or less route one. A lot of the technical players, we used to struggle and back then too, because it was so physical that, I mean, we used to be playing against centre backs who are 6 foot something, and they come and shoot the back of you. Sometimes the referee just wave and play on, you know, so you have to get your head around that and protect yourself as much as you can and be stronger.
What was the scouting report on how to defend against Tunjo?
I think when I left the MLS, they used to call me the turn. I had the ability to turn left side or right side. I think it was difficult to defend me because I could go both ways, and I remember training with Dwight York and those guys and them, and we thought sometimes in the session, I mean, the coaches would be frustrated. We used to be using our left foot only. And I think my left foot was developed so well that I could turn any side and shoot the ball well too. So it was something for defenders, they had to defend as well too.
You talk about Dwight York and of course Shaka Hislop. I mean, these are two international teams coming and support you. Trinidadians are known for giving that extra familiar support to their brethren. How did that help and benefit you in your?
It was a good feeling. I think looking up in the stand and knowing that they were there to support me. Back then, Dwight York was better at Man United, and for him to take time off to come and look at me, this little kid coming from the MLS and making my debut there in front of those guys, I think was a great feeling. My brothers there too as well, my agent. I think it was a great night at the end of the day. Me being able to score my debut and like I said, to the monkey off my back is a fantastic feeling. Trust me, because in the UK they can be unforgiving.
At what point in time did youngster John realize that he's not so young anymore? That he needed to move on from scoring goals to coaching young fellas to score goals?
I think my passion was always, I mean, when I was a player, I always used to try to help the younger players, and I think I always had that passion too. In the Trinidad, one of my coaches was Alvin Coyne and Anton Coyne, those guys too. And most people used to tell me that, I mean, you should go into coaching and you should I mean, you have that passion, you have that drive too. I think when I stopped playing football a few years ago, I think I kind of went away from football a bit too. I mean, I went to try to do investments and business and different stuff like that, and I never had that passion and that drive. I think it wasn't me. I think for me, I always wanted to be on the sideline or on the field. And I think I said, you know what, I'm going to go into coaching, and from since then, I love every moment of it. I love teaching. I mean, football is a game that's evolving so much that I have to learn every day. There's never a dull day. I mean, every course comes up, I would like to get on the course and learn as much as I can too, you know. So for me, I mean, being passionate about coaching it comes from me playing as well too.
Your first team as a head coach, how did that go?
Oh, youth football, or because I was coaching a youth team in Trinidad too.
You were coaching a youth team. Actually, you were in the national setup as well.
Yeah, I was coaching the Trinidad under 17. I was with the senior team as well too, and there was opportunity for me to go and there was a vacancy in the under 17. I was the assistant coach of the senior team. And Dennis Lawrence, my head coach, he called me Harry. He's like, Harry, go try, go for it, go. I'm like, okay, I'm going. So I went there to coach the Trinidad under 17. Actually, we qualified for the first time in a long time for the second rounds of the youth tournament. We won against Jamaica, which is something that never happened in a couple of years since after we stopped playing too as well too. So it was a great achievement.
I'm sure that win against Jamaica was well appreciated by the Trinidad.
Yeah, because you know the rivalry too as well too, Trinidad and Jamaica. It's a good rivalry. It's very good. It's very healthy.
Coach Stern, John in house. Wednesday night Opinionated. We'll be right back after these messages. It's Wednesday night Opinionated, and we in the house tonight with CONCACAF's leading goal scorer, Stern John. Coach, tell me something. So after your setup under 17, you moved on to bigger and better things. Your first senior gig, how was that?
My first senior game, I think I went to Angola. First because it was an opportunity for me. I think I learned enough under Dennis, and I think I need to branch out and go and get more experience and go and coach a bit more. I think after working with the Trinidad setup, I think I've learned so much from under Dennis, and like I said, Stuart Charles was there too as well too. He was assistant coach there as well too. And I learned a lot from both of them. I told myself, you know what, this is an opportunity for me and take it as a stepping stone. I went to the last place team in FIFA. You know, and all my friends were like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's a serious chance you're taking. I was like, you know what, just believe something will happen. You know, and then I went there and I was able to structure the football. Our first game we get absolutely battered, you know. But I was able to steady the ship and structure the football a bit better. And now I think I left Angola in a better place now that they're not going to be battered and beaten around like they were before. And also, well, opportunity came for me to head to St. Lucia and some growth, in other words. Was a good opportunity for me to coach better players and players who are a different caliber as well too. So I took the opportunity.
You mentioned a keyword here, structure. What is the structure you look for in terms of putting together a team?
I think for me, a lot of people talk about philosophy and what's your philosophy and stuff like that. I think for me is, you have to come in and you have to work hard. I think working on football is a given. I think team is very important. I think we could have a bunch of players who are playing for themselves, but they're not playing for the team. I think in the end, it's going to hurt the team. So I think once we have a proper team structure and we organize well and we understand how I want the team to play and the players are buying it, I think the buying clause is very important as well too. And it's a process. It's a process. When I first came, I think the players wasn't sure about it to the buying clause, and they bought in the end. And like I said, everything is a process.
We won't use the word philosophy because you don't like that word. But we talk about mentorship. We look at, you've been around, Caribbean and Europe. I guess there must have been coaches or players that have influenced your thought process and your style. What comes to mind when you think about putting together that structure? What's the style? Are you a coach that goes player first and then a system to fit, or system and get players to fit that? Or do you like ball control, or are you, let's just get the job done?
No. I love football. I was like I said, I was a player. He was a player who wanted to play football, and I want my players to be comfortable in the ball in all departments. I think for me, I explain to the players, I tell them all the time. I don't like players who don't like the football. Just get on the ball, and I'd rather you make a mistake trying to do the right thing than hide them from the ball. I think it's important the players be brave and they want to get on the ball too. But we also know football is two sides. It's playing with the ball and playing without the ball, in transition and without transition. I think me growing up in the Caribbean, and I learned my trade in the UK and stuff like that, I know the mentality of our culture in the Caribbean. We love the ball, but we don't want to do the horrible side of the game. And I think once we organize that and the players understand when we do have the ball, we have to go get it back. It's very important to me. I want us to have the ball, but as soon as we lose the ball, we have to go get it back. And that is very important. I think the guys have bought into it. It took us a while, but I think we understand what we're trying to do now.
We all won Caribbean, we all different stops on each other. But even within the one Caribbean, we have different cultures, and it manifests itself in sports. When you look at, of course, like you said, the trade has gone, taking you full circle from Trinidad to the US to Europe. We look at our culture, our sporting, our footballing culture. What did you see that you did not initially anticipate?
No, I know they always had naturally talented players in St. Lucia, but it's just getting them to play together. I think for me, I was a father at a young time in my life too when I was playing in the UK, and I had to understand the younger generation or the Gen Z generation, understand how to treat them. I think when a player comes into the national program, I treat them with love. I look after them and I make sure they're comfortable. I think back in our time, we have coaches used to. A lot of the players never used to interact with the coaches. They never have a chat with them. Like some stuff that we do too. When we come to train every day, they meet and greet the staff. I think stuff like that goes a long way too in football. I think you need to teach the players. Make sure you show them that you appreciate them. They want to be loved. You have to show them that too. And I think for us as a staff and a national team, I think a lot of the players bought into it. So when we working, and when it's downtime, it's downtime. But we know to draw a line.
You mentioned, of course, the talent bit. But when you also look at, you have to find a place to pick your players from. What is the selection process that you use in identifying who gets called up for the...
Well, the FA has a selection process. I came in and I met that day, and obviously I have to follow too as well. Too. We have a lot of players playing in the local leagues. We have to look at them very carefully and vet them too, because all of the league here is good standards. But we just need to do a bit more to play international football. I think a lot of the clubs here they train probably 2 or 3 times a week. And I think for us to compete at that international level, we need a bit more sessions. But I sympathize with the players and the clubs as well too. I think it's difficult too, because a lot of the players have to go to work and then go train and stuff like that. They have their family to look after and bills to pay too as well too. So I understand that too, and we're asking a lot of the players too. And I think so far I've been here, the players have responded really well.
You mentioned that the actual training sessions, or lack thereof, is one of the hindrances for us getting to the next level.
Yeah.
In terms of what you've seen, what we have in terms of our infrastructure, our fields, in terms of our quality of our competition, are you satisfied? Because the position looking up, down, figuring out what you need to pull. Are you satisfied with what you see, or you think
we have a lot of fields here. I mean, I think especially the turf, because turf is something that they can play football on every day. It's low maintenance. We have a lot of the facilities here, but we just need more kids to come out and play football. I think we have a lot of fields here, and we don't see any kids playing football at all. I mean, I'm surprised, But I know it's a different generation that we're dealing with. But I think the leagues here are structured really well. We can get better. Everything is always an improvement. But the players and the coaches need to push the players a bit more. So when they come into the national setup, we have a lot more work to be done than in international clubs, which I understand that too as well too, because when you're an international manager, you tend to pick players and just structure a team. But when you're in the Caribbean, you have to properly coach players and teach them the game properly and stuff like that. So you have to coach properly.
You mentioned, of course, the new generation, the kids. I don't know if this is under your purview, but as a head coach, do you have the set of systems that you have them coming through, I guess, from under 14 up to your level, or is that?
Well, we started the process since I've been here. I've been in the job for 14 months, and like I said, everything is a process. It's going to take a while to develop. I have to make sure and structure the national team first, and stable the national team first, and then we can go down to the younger kids and explain to them that we want you to mirror everything that the senior team is doing. Like I said, everything is going to take a while for them to buy into it. It's something different that we're not accustomed to. But I think the effort has been tremendous in supporting what we're trying to do as well too. We saw the under 17 under 15 actually went to a tournament recently, and I mean they got to the final, and something that is very, very, very. I mean, is something that they have to recognize too. I think the younger players, they want to play football, they want to play for your national team too, and we have to continue encouraging them because what they've done there is fantastic.
You talk about the local levels, and we see where they are, and we see that there's room for growth, and you like the direction they're going. But you also added international players, foreign-based players to your selection. How do you go about scouting, identifying them?
Well, I have a massive team behind me. I think, we have you name it. We have a huge team behind me. We have scouts. We have match analysis. We have guys who's on the computer that's trying to find players who represent St. Lucia. And I think for us to compete at that level, we need a couple of international players. I think the rest of the world have been doing it. I think we're not gonna just bring a player because he's outside. He has to be good enough or better than what we have in St. Lucia, and we can bring him into the fold. So we spend a lot of time watching those players outside and looking at them and bringing them into the national team, vetting them really well and making sure that they're at that level to play for St. Lucia, because we're not just gonna take you because your grandparents or your mom or your dad are St. Lucia. We're not gonna do that.
Skill is one thing, but culturally, how do you get these two different worlds to mesh to form a?
It's funny you say that. I think football is one language. It's one language, and I think as a young professional player playing outside in the UK as well too. When I used to go back home to Trinidad, the local players used to come to us and gel with us too. And I see the same thing here. It's one team. Most of the guys, they have good friends with the international players, and they work together. And I think there's a lot they can learn from the international players as well too. And I told a lot of the players, football is such a funny game. You gotta have 2 games, and your lifestyle change for yourself and your family. So, and then they come in and they see the international players, their work ethic and what they bring to the table. I think it's tremendous what they do. For me, it makes my job easier.
When you look at, of course, you said it must be good enough. You look at the gaps. Is the gap something that is easily manageable to us to get to that level in terms of the local players and the foreign base who are?
Of course it is. I think we just need to be in that environment. We have players who have a lot of talent, but talent can only get you this far. We go around the Caribbean, we see a lot of players who we speak about them. This guy used to be a good player. He could have been this, he could have been that. But what have he done? What have he done? He haven't done anything to get to that next level. And I think we need to come out of that mentality too, and instead of telling players that they're good enough yet, they're not ready yet, but they're gonna get there soon. But I think we have the talent that we can get them there. But we need to be in this environment every day reputations and learning the game better.
Here's the last one for you. What is the process right now for team preparation as you move forward into your... In other words, what are your training models like?
Well, international football and international coaching have a lot of downtime. And we take that time to monitor the players, and we know all the players. We have an app that we track all the players who play internationally. And then when we're here, we get to watch the local players as well too. We don't get to spend a lot of time together. We're just hoping we can get a lot of more time together, but we don't really get that much. But we tend to, as soon as we get them, we can put them in that environment that they can train and look after their nutrition and their fitness as well too, because I'm a big fan of nutrition and fitness as well too. I think a lot of players, you need to look after yourself to be able to compete at this level. And if you don't look after yourself, you can't compete, because football is not something that you could put down and pick up when you feel like it. Football is a day-to-day thing. It's an ongoing thing. The game is evolving so much that you have to keep in touch with the game. So our players have to continue training as much as we can. We have a couple of players here, about 10 of the key players who are part of the national team as well too, and we train like 5-6 times a week. We get them a day off probably on a Saturday. But we have to continue training as much as we can. The more time we spend at our craft, I think we'll get better.
Stick around, more Coach Stern when we come back. It's Wednesday night, of course. We're in the house with the legendary Coach Stern John. Coach, so here we are. So our team went out in the last 2 games, and of course, the record would speak for himself. 2-1 in the last 2 games. The first game, St. Martin. Of course, they're not ranked by FIFA, but nevertheless, you play who's in front of you. Talk to me. Were you satisfied? What was the goal? It's always a goal to win, I agree. But what were you looking for in terms of your team's performance?
I think I know the capability of the team. I think once we play to our full potential, we'll get results. It's just we need to pay attention to key details. I think going into the St. Martin game, we were pretty confident that we can get a result. But we had to show up and earn the right to play. Because football is a funny game. Not because St. Martin is not ranked. Yeah, not because St. Martin is not ranked, you think you're going to show up and beat them like that. It doesn't work that way. If we look at the first couple of chances, they had the better exchange of the chances. But we were really strong in the way we played. And football is a funny game. If you don't take your chances, you come and get kicked in the teeth. We had some good chances early into the game. And on a different day, Dominic could have scored 6 goals. But that's just the nature of the beast. And we were able to close off the game into the second half.
And of course, 5-1 is a good scoreline for any day. But there are all these things that you looked at that you like, we could have done better.
I think realistically, we in a game of results. We got the results and we move on. Everyone's not going to be satisfied with the team performance. We in a game, like I said, we in a game of results. We want to win games very nicely and playing attractive football. But sometimes football it doesn't work that way. So sometimes you have to grind results, and that's what we do. We were successful in winning the game by a decent margin in the end, but there's still a lot of stuff we need to fine tune and get right. But
of course, you use those moments to bring the team together, and a win is always a win.
Yeah.
And of course, the camaraderie building, the comfort being away, all these things I guess add value to the team, to the growth model. And I mean, you could be proud of the boys.
Yeah, very proud of the boys. Very proud of the boys. I think we have a decent bunch of guys here, and they keep their feet on the ground. I always tell them that you're only as good as your last game. So we have to continue playing and continue working out as a team and building as a team. I think you're only stronger in numbers, and the more you play together, I think you're gonna get results.
And of course, Johnny's in my head saying, but ask Coach about the free kick. That beat Vino in the back there.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic free kick. My God, I was standing right behind it. I think I told him he needed a rod to get there in the end, but it was a great free kick. A lot of people told me he stepped to the side, but I think you hold your hands up. It was a fantastic free kick.
You just say handle.
Yeah. It was fantastic, yeah.
And of course, from there, you moved on to your second match, St. Kitts. Ranked one, well, depending on the ranking, either 139 or 140. ranked above us. We were 170. And of course, that game played to your strategy.
Yeah, very much so. I think it's always difficult going into back-to-back games. I think we traveled to Curacao and played St. Martin. We got good results, and then from that night, the recovery started from there. We were able to get a flight back early, back to St. Lucia, and get the boys rested up. I think going into back-to-back games, you're always worried about, because we don't have a big squad. We made a few changes here and there, tactically, to save energy as well too. And I think a lot of people don't understand that you take a lot out of the players when you play back-to-back games as well too. So we had to be mentally strong and tactically ready. Because St. Kitts is one team that they've been to the last 3 Gold Cups. I mean, they're not a easy team to play against. So we have to be organized very, very well. We have to be disciplined. But I think for us, sometimes in key moments, we tend to fall asleep. I think before we scored the goal, there was opportunity for St. Kitts to go up 1-0. Vino made a fantastic save. And from there, we built with confidence, We went on to win the game.
When you look at your team, you saw the growth between game 1 and game 2?
Yes, I saw the growth in terms of tactical preparation, in terms of what the guys took on board. It's credit to the boys and them that the information that we gave them, they were able to execute it on the field. And I think as a coach or manager who's around football, you'll be pretty happy with that too as well too, because everyone came in and they done their jobs, and we was able to get a result, and that's what we wanted.
You mentioned earlier that football is an international language that everybody speaks, but we see teams like Man United where Mason Mount is struggling to fit in that midfield, and they just cannot seem to be a cohesion. How is the gelling happening for you? Do you find that they're gelling at the right time?
So far, knock on wood, we haven't brought in a player that is not having fit the structure and haven't been able to fit into the team. I think like I said, our vetting process is really, really good. We tend to find the players for the positions that we want them to play, and we need to get strength in those positions. We need a couple more midfielders as well too, a couple of ball handlers to play at that level, because like I said, we were successful in Nations League C, and now we're in Nations League B, which is a lot tougher challenge now. We have better players, better countries that we're playing against, so we need to be up for the challenge as well too. We know St. Kitts is a very tough opposition, very tough, and I think we done well in getting results. I think the players are growing in strength and strength. They believe in themselves, and they know we can do this. So long as we continue keeping our feet on the ground, and should be successful.
You talk about getting the right players to play the right position. So none more key than your captain, Terrell Thomas.
Yeah.
What was the impetus that made you decide that that's the man I'm going with?
So we need a leader. We need a leader, someone who's very vocal. I think his organization skills is second to none, being a centre back. And I always say, I was a striker before, and once a centre back can organize what's in front of him, his job is a lot easier. And I think since he came into the setup, he always wanted to play for St. Lucia. He's always there no matter what, and he always speaking to the younger players and encouraging them and explaining to the senior players. And I think he's a proper leader. But like I say, I mean, we have 11 leaders on the pitch, but he's the one wearing the captain, man.
Yeah. And of course, another one I think that stood up with his name was called Vino Bartlett.
Yeah. Vino's a top keeper. I think the last 2 seasons have been the top keeper in the Caribbean. For me, I hope he can kick on, and I think he's outgrown Jamaica. His manager probably won't like me saying this, but I mean, for growth and for the young player too. I mean, a goalkeeper is he's still young in his goalkeeping career too. He's only 20-something years old. I mean, a goalkeeper peaks when he's almost 30, and I think the kind of
all the way up to
saves,
40.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of saves he's pulling off for us is tremendous saves, and like I say, he's a well-grounded guy, and once he keeps his feet on the ground, I mean, he will make it to a high level.
Of course, to the sexy players, Dominic Alfred Polio, the man with the golden boots at this point.
Yep. He's one of the players who's under a lot of pressure from me, because I was a striker as well too. I know he's a naturally talented player. He can score goals for you, but the other side of the game he does for you is like when he's not scoring good, he works hard for the team, and I think that's something as a striker in modern day football you need to. I mean, back in the day, they have strikers who just wanted to score goals and they wasn't doing anything for the team. So if they're not scoring goals, they're useless to you. But I think what he's bringing to the table, he's scoring a lot of goals and he's also working hard for the team. And the local players, they love him. He's got quite a character.
Another player who seemed to impress is Rico Hackett-Fetcher.
Yeah.
What comes to mind when you think of Rico?
My God, majestic. Yeah, very, 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 very good on the ball. Understands the game, reads the games well. He's another guy who we brought in internationally as well too. His parents are St. Lucian, and he wants to come and play for St. Lucia. And there's a lot of players who have a daughter St. Lucian in them, and they want to come and play for this country. And I think it's tremendous. I think it's a great feeling, and he's a tremendously talented player as well too. His left foot is scary. I think you're going to see him really in training.
Well, kudos to you and yourself and stuff for identifying such good talent. But of course, we also had one local one who really impressed, Rydell Stanislas.
Yeah, Rydell.
Oh, it's Rydell, sorry. Apologies, Rydell.
Yeah. No, he's proper box-to-box player. He's one of the guys who will give you everything in the tank. And I think he deserves his opportunity. He deserves his goal too as well too. Actually, he scored on his birthday, which is good. I think
no better gift.
Nah. I think he's one of those players as a local player. He have it in his locker to be a world-class player. Like I said, just need to be in that international environment on a day-to-day basis.
I know you said you have 11 leaders, and I call out those that, of course, when you watch the TV, will always find the goal scorers. But is there anybody that we missed that you figure needs a shout out there? Let them know that we be supporting them.
No. I think Kurt is a key player for us too. I think a lot of the players, like I said, Melvin,
Baby boy.
Yeah. A lot of the players they play. I think team. I think, like I always emphasize, team is important, and the guys understand how important team is, and they play for each other. Like you said, they go to war for each other and they fight for each other in the game. I haven't seen a team like that in such a long time, even when I played too. So like I said, once we can keep our feet on the ground and stay grounded, we should have some success. We all know football is a funny game. We're gonna have times when we're gonna be under the cushion, different stuff like that. So we just have to weather the storm.
So who's next in your group?
We play Guadeloupe back to back on the 12th of next month and the 15th.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
He's Coach Jones. He's Coach Stern. I will be back. So it's Wednesday and we're in the studio with our St. Lucia's. We're claiming you now.
Yeah.
Very old Stern John.
I've been here before,
Coach, who was the mentor as a young boy? Who were you looking at trying to emulate when you were scoring all these goals?
My mentor, I used to love Roberto Baggio. And then going into the national setup and I saw Dwight York, I was blown away. I mean, I think a lot of people, they see him on the international stage and they know what he can do, but I think seeing this guy in training and seeing his work ethic and what he done is tremendous, I mean, I think he was such a strong player, such a talented player. And I think for me, have to be Dwight York. My favorite player, Dwight York.
There you go.
Yeah.
And on that, that's a segue into your top 5 players of
Oh
all
my God, now you're going to put me under pressure.
Remember, there are no wrong answers.
I have to put Dwight York in there. Baggio, Pele, Maradona.
So with the exception of Dwight, you like a lot of short players, right?
No. I mean, those are my players. I think, you can never pick five top
Why
players.
Baggio?
Huh?
Why Baggio?
I think he was so good on the ball. I think his vision for the game. I think he was ahead of the game. I think his technical ability and tactical awareness too of the game was second to none. And he was so clinical in front of goal as well too.
And then who else we have? We have Pele.
Yeah. Well, you pick Pele. Some people might think that you never really saw him play live and never saw him play, but I mean, I think his attributes as a player is something that you will want your young player to have. I mean, he's strong, he was quick, he could head the ball and use both feet as well too, and he's also clever.
And number 4,
Maradona. I mean, the best left foot in the world, I think is you can't describe him. You can't describe him. He was just born to be world class.
And number 5.
Well, like you say, I'll have to pick Messi. Yeah,
Your favorite in the left footers?
Yeah. I think a left footer too. I think like right footers, we see them a dime a dozen, and left footers they caress the ball differently, they think differently. They could use inside the left foot, outside the left foot, and they just naturally talented. I think when you see a left footer, when you see a proper left footer, it's like, yeah, that's a proper left footer, Not like a left footer who I say a left footer who's not out of the cradle. Messi is a cradle left footer. We have left footers who are educated left footers, but he was a cradle left footer.
You have scored many goals in your career. What goal sticks with you the most?
Have to be a goal against Bahrain. I think I missed a penalty in that game. We played Bahrain in Trinidad in the playoffs. No, sorry. Actually, it's against Mexico to get us to the playoffs. Sorry, my bad. I missed a penalty in the first probably 10 minutes of the game, and obviously, you know, the Trinidad fans, they can be unforgiving. And I was under tremendous pressure then, trying to get back into the game. They came and scored. One of the Mexican players scored an audacious chip on Kelvin Jack. He crashed into the post and he hurt himself. I think against the runner play, one of our midfielders hit us with the shot the ball, and I went in and got tapping. Borderline offside, as they say, you know. But I mean, nevertheless, the goal stand. And I think, but I know the second half, there was a ball that was Latipi or he was trying to play a ball into me, it ricocheted between me and two Mexican defenders, and I got it on my left foot, and it gave me a nice sweet bounce, and I just smashed it top bin, back of the net. I think that's one of my favorite goals. I think was an important goal for us as well too, for us to be able to get to the playoffs.
That's the goal that sent you through.
Yeah. So yeah.
You remember this? I know we're digging inside there.
Well, yeah. I think yeah. So funny that some people call it a tap-in, but it was probably one of the most important goals I scored in my life as well too. We were able to get to the playoff, and that the game we got to was worth $250 million. Yeah.
Most expensive game in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think same again. I missed the early opportunity, and I wanted to make amends. And I just wanted one chance against Millwall. And I got myself in a decent position. All I had to do was use the pace of the ball and put the ball in the back of the net. Some people call it a tap-in or a good morning.
You actually look like a young Dwight there, you know? So two things. One, what inspired your goal celebration? That take off the jersey and run. And was that before the yellow card?
Yeah. We used to get yellow card back then too. But it depends on the mood I was in. Because I always, even in training, when you score goals, I tell my young players here too, when you score, you must be happy to score. We used to celebrate in training a lot and try different things, but it was just spontaneous. wasn't really planned. Depends on the moment of the game or how you felt that day.
Coach, we're moving on to what we call semi-pro.
Mm-hmm.
Or that is the intention. Having been coming through the system of being a semi-pro and being a professional, what if I wouldn't limit you? What do you think is necessary for us? Because right now you are the head of the mantle, that to ensure that this thing is successful and that we reap the necessary rewards that we can move forward.
I think so. I think it's very important that we have at least a semi-professional league here. Like I said, for us to continue competing at that level, we need guys to be looked after properly and be paid to play football. I think being in a semi-professional environment, it makes you have to train a lot more, and you spend time. You don't have to go to work and then rush to go and train in the afternoon. And I think you get more to the player that way. And I think for St. Lucian football to be at the top level, to compete at the Jamaicans and the Trinidad teams on this world, we need a semi-professional team as well too. I mean, it's gonna take a while. I mean, it's a process because there's another stuff that we need to do before we get to that point. But I know the FA, they spoke about it with the Prime Minister as well too, and hopefully we can get to that point sooner than later.
When you look at the talent, I mean, we always say, why the Caribbean is a hotbed of talent, but at the end of the day, there's only so many fellas playing in the top 5 or 6 leagues in the world. How far are we from getting a regular pipeline to these elite leagues? I
think it's difficult. It's very difficult. It's almost impossible at this present time. We saw a couple of players left Jamaica, and they went straight into the Premiership. I think a lot of people, they don't realize that it have a lot to do that where your team is ranked, and where your team is ranked in FIFA And also for a player to get an international contract or international work permit, he has to play 75% of his national team in that calendar year as well too. So it's a lot. I think back in our days we had a lot more opportunities, and it was I mean the clubs, the national teams were ranked a lot higher. We tend to see a lot of players going through the back door, going to Europe and spend a lot of time in Europe and then coming back over. I think that's a way to get our players into Europe and into the Premiership. But I think for the whole Caribbean, I think we need more players playing at the Premiership level too as well too, so we can compete.
But talent-wise, and when we talk about raw talent, are we there that we can send them even if they do get a thing and do?
We are there. We sent a couple of players out before. But like I always say, talent can only get you this far. When you get to Europe and to England and stuff like that, you have 50 talented players at the youth level. What are you going to bring different to the table? Are you going to run more? Are you going to tackle more? Are you going to be a natural goal scorer? So I think our players here, we need to learn the game properly first before we send them outside. The product has to be better before we send them outside. I think we're rushing to send the players outside too fast, and the product is not good enough, so they're coming right back to the Caribbean. I think we need to spend a lot more time at the craft and learn the game a lot better, be physically ready and mentally as well too, before we can send them out.
I don't know if this falls in your purview, but we look at the benchmark for the Caribbean right now. Well, Haiti included, with Jamaica and Trinidad. We granted, and we look at their youth/school systems. You've been here 14 months. You officially speaking Patois. You know, do we need to make that adjustment at that level that we can begin to compete continuously with Trinidad and Jamaica?
I think so. Because there's a big gap between when they get to 16 to 20 or 14 to 20 that we need. I mean, we need them to be playing more football. I think that's a key time in their lives where they're going to kick on to be better players or not better players. I think we have to find a way to structure some type of league that we can get them playing. I know in Trinidad and Jamaica they have the college leagues and different stuff like that, and now they're playing against each other. So the teams that are in Trinidad who won their various leagues, and in Jamaica they come in almost like a Caribbean schoolboy league. So hopefully we can. I mean, like I said, everything is a process. It's going to take a while for us to structure everything and make sure we get the right balance for the football in St. Lucia, because we have a lot of talent, but we need to structure it properly.
I know that we right now bask in the glory of 2 wins and we're moving forward, but as a coach, you always have to be thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah.
When you look at your pipeline, I guess you're under 20s and you're under 23s. Are you satisfied with where they are in terms of producing the next generation of St. Lucian footballer?
Yes.
We're not running the fellas out. Don't get me wrong. You know?
Very, 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 very satisfied, because actually I have almost 10 of them with me right now. I invited a couple more of them, and probably they think they're better than they are, and they refuse to come, which is fair enough. I mean, everybody have an opinion what they can do, but the ones who are there, they are the future. And I keep telling them, just keep coming and keep learning and spending time with your craft. I mean, sometimes they get frustrated because they haven't been picked in the senior team, but it's going to take time. You're going to get there. And I think a lot of them, they understand how important it is to be patient and to learn the game properly. And the ones that we have there, they have been really, really doing really well. They've been getting better. I think I mean, some of the clubs who the players are playing with, the coaches are like, they're happy to send them to with us, because they're making their job a lot easier. You know, when they come back to their clubs, I always tell them, you're a national team player. When you go back to your club, you must be at that level too. You can't go back down to a different level. You have to go back to your club and be professional and be organized and be a leader. And I think a lot of the young players, they went back to their clubs and they've been doing just that.
Coach, it's been a pleasure. Any last words?
No, I mean, I was a bit nervous at first, expecting to give me some loaded questions, but it was good. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it definitely. So
we still had the green room after. It's Coach Sir John, CONCACAF leading scorer, and of course we're honored to have you. Thank you so much for spending the evening with us.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank the guys in the back for making it happen. The Lone Ranger in the back there, Johnny, and of course Bagger Rhythms. We are Opinionated. We're on every Wednesday, and we'll see you guys next week.